Hey guys, we're back with Second Round Steals, our NBA podcast, and today we're going to be presenting the first uh, daily edition of our NBA ramblings and rants. So, what do you have to talk about, Ben?
Well, first, let's get into stud teams of the week. All the
Yeah.
teams have been killing it throughout the past week or so of the NBA action.
So, who do you have for your stud?
I have the Detroit Pistons. Obviously, there's a lot of teams that are hotter out there right now, but the Pistons are just too surprising to not be in that conversation for me. After so many people thought that they were kind of going to flame out, that, Reggie Jackson wasn't going to live up to his contract hype, this team is really coming through, and they're pulling that Van Gundy offense off really well. They're mimicking those Dwight Howard magic almost identically. And Andre Drummond's on a whole new level of amazingness for this
Yeah,
year.
he's been ridiculous. Like, last week he averaged 20 points and like 24 rebounds.
Yeah.
Player of the week.
And it's not even just him. Marcus Morris is playing really well. Reggie Jackson's playing really well.
It's pretty surprising that Morris is playing well,
Yeah.
considering that he's missing his other half.
Yeah. Even Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is showing growth. The whole team is really starting to grow.
Yeah.
So what about
I'm
you?
really surprised with Reggie Jackson, too. He's averaging 22 points, 5 assists, which is okay, and he's shooting it pretty decent at 44% from the overall from the field and 39% from three.
Yeah, he's showing that the stretch last season that he put on with them was no fluke. He's
Yeah.
showing that he did actually earn that contract, and it's not just money thrown at him for no reason or empty stats.
Yeah.
So how about you? What do you have as the stud team for this past week?
I mean, I went with the easy choice for my stud of the week, stud team of the week. It's got to be the Golden State Warriors. They've been ridiculous, even without Steve Kerr on the sideline and having Luke Walton as their interim for the time being. They said Steve Kerr's going to be back until around February. Uh, the Warriors have been ridiculous. They beat the Grizzlies by 50 points, and they played a pretty competitive series against them last season in the second round of the playoffs. But they beat them by 50 points, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And they're winning by an average margin of 18 points a game. And like we were talking about in the NBA preview podcast with the Warriors, we pretty much agree that they're a very, very good candidate for them to win the finals again and repeat. And like the way they're playing now and how cohesive they're playing, it's making me think, do you think they're going to challenge for that 72-10 record the 98 Bulls had?
I think they very well can. I don't know if we can go off that just yet. Obviously, they're 8-0, but 74 more games to go. They're going to get tired at some point. They're going to go through a little bit of a lull, and you kind of want them to. They could challenge for that 72-10 record, but that's not really the brightest idea, and I don't think Steve Kerr would even want them to challenge for that record. He was a student of Pop's. I mean, obviously he was also a student.
He was on that team, too.
Yeah, he was also on the team that won 72 games, but he learned from Pop later when he started getting into his more mature days. And look at how Popovich does it. He doesn't try to break records in games won. They'll win 50 games, and then he'll take his starters out and break. But with this team, obviously you don't need to worry as much as the Spurs do. But I don't think there's any need that I don't think Steve Kerr is going to try and push his guys that hard to win 72 games. That's a lot of energy spent that would be better saved for the postseason where they're going to have to play a lot tougher basketball.
Yeah, I agree. But it would be really exciting to see them just even chase the record.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Even like with this current win streak, I don't even know when they could possibly lose. I mean, they're playing the Clippers in a couple of games, and that was probably their most competitive game. But aside from that, I don't know how this team's going to pan out, especially with their schedule. They have a pretty easy schedule coming up. aside from that Clippers game, they have their next toughest opponent is the Bulls, and they don't really play Houston or San Antonio for a while. I think I'm looking at the schedule now, and it's a pretty easy schedule for them. So they could very likely take it to 15-0 and beyond.
Yeah, and that all lies on Steph Curry too. The way that he's been playing as of now, if he keeps it up, they could keep this record. Probably win 20 games before they suffer any sort of competitive loss or something. He's absolutely killing it. 53% from the floor as a point guard. 48%, 47% from three. 5
He
rebounds,
scored like
6
30
assists.
points and a half.
Yeah. Well, he's averaging 32 per game
Right.
with 6 assists and 5 rebounds. Like, that's amazing. And he's on a team. It's not like he's taking all the shots. He has a lot of good weapons around him.
Mm-hmm.
Klay Thompson scoring 16 a game. I think Harrison Barnes is up to like 13 or 12 a game. Draymond Green's averaging 12 a game. This team is... It's a very well-rounded team. Everyone likes to think that's just Steph Curry and all of his dominance. This team in itself is filled with superstars.
Yeah, for sure.
So I guess then, moving on from this, let's get into player studs. Specific players who have been amazing this past week.
So who did you have?
I have Reggie Jackson.
Okay.
We just talked about how he's living up to his contract and everything. He scored 26 in the fourth quarter against the Blazers the other night. They were down, I believe they were down 30 going into the fourth. Down 20 or 30. And Reggie Jackson and Andre Drummond just took the show over. Reggie Jackson is now the third highest scorer in the fourth quarter. Only 2 people to score higher than him in the past 10 years have been Dirk and Kobe.
Yeah. It's really surprising. I guess it's kind of surprising for me to see Reggie Jackson really progress. Like last year or around this time, a lot of people were questioning Reggie Jackson's ability. And even with the trade for Cantor, when Jackson was traded to Detroit, a lot of people were questioning, like, he's just a ball dominant guy, but he's helping. They're 5-2 this season so far. So I'm really interested to see what else Reggie Jackson can do this season.
Yeah.
Or if this is like his ceiling, or he can even show even more.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a better three-point shot. He can always progress that, which would be nice, but as of right now, they're sitting 5-2. They're looking really good, and it's in large part from his progression. Also, Andre Drummond. I'm not trying to say that Andre Drummond isn't a monster right now, but Reggie Jackson's a great sidekick to have for him.
Mm-hmm. And I guess continuing with the whole sidekick thing, so my stud player of the week, I have to go with CJ McCollum. It's pretty surprising to see him like really break out this season. Like we were talking about during our preview, we didn't really have high hopes for Portland, but they've been okay. They're at 500 right now. They're 4-4 through 8 games. But McCollum's is almost having a breakout. He's averaging 21 points per game, shooting at 46% from the field, and he's shooting at 42% from 3. And for a team that's led by Damian Lillard, having a sidekick, if you will, in CJ McCollum is a really interesting thing. McCollum kind of was battling through injuries and was kind of buried on the bench the past couple of years, but he's really showing that he can get buckets when he needs to, which is good when, especially if you have Damian Lillard on the floor. It gives you another score, and I don't think their big men are really going to give you that scoring.
Yeah, Lillard himself is having a great year that a lot of people didn't see coming. 28 points per game, 7 assists, which is much higher than his career, and he's just doing it very efficiently. 26.36 PER. But CJ McCollum, I think is contributing to that efficiency of Lillard, like you said. Because if you don't have that second star, that alternate option that's going to score and wreak havoc, then everyone just focus in on Lillard, and it would make his life miserable in order to get a shot off. But if you have CJ McCollum, who is also acting like a secondary point guard for them, 3 assists per game from the 2-guard position is pretty good, and 21 points, like you mentioned. But when you have that second option that is going to strike a little bit of fear into defenses, they can't just all sag onto Lillard. They have to keep him honest. They make sure that they get both McCollum and Lillard. And then that starts opening up the floor for your big men. Another player on that team, Al-Farouq Aminu. All of them. I think everyone's kind of like helping, but they're another surprise team that we didn't even get into.
I think they're okay. I mean, we didn't really have high expectations for them to begin with, but them sitting at 500 right now might be what they'll do for the rest of the season.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to duds. So let's go. What do you have as one of the worst teams? One of the teams to fall flat this past week.
I mean, there's 3 teams that are currently winless, and one of them is the Brooklyn Nets. And it might be a little surprising to see Brooklyn really bad, because a lot of people were pegging them as a fringe playoff team, but nobody was really expecting them to be this abysmal. I watched maybe 3 or 4 of their games, and I couldn't watch any of them. I had to shut the TV off to change the channel, because the way they've been playing has been basically atrocious. Jarrett Jack he's been okay offensively, but defensively he's just making things easy. They lost to the Lakers, and the Lakers were winless. The Bucks were winless, and they beat the Nets. And it's really kind of good for the Celtics, I guess, but horrible for Brooklyn Nets fans, whoever Net fans that are in the Barclays Center. Because just watching that Lakers game last weekend, the fans were cheering louder for the Lakers in the Barclays Center, Brooklyn, New York. They were cheering louder for Kobe, the Lakers, Jordan Clarkson of all people, than any of the Nets players. Joe Johnson looks basically cooked, and the only bright spots of this team is basically Brook Lopez, Thad Young, and Rondae Hollis-Jefferson. I don't know what it'll take for them to change or to swing things around, but they've been unexpectedly bad, in my opinion.
Right. It is odd. Even I didn't expect them to do well this season, but the very clear decline of Joe Johnson. I mean, he's been declining for years now. Obviously, his points per game have been dropping, his efficiency level has been dropping, but he was still a 15-point per game scorer. He was still a decent scorer when you needed him in isolation. It's just now, it's nothing. It's completely gone.
Even seeing him play, it just looks like he doesn't care anymore. His decision making is even slower too. He's making the team worse, I feel, because it takes him. He dribbles the ball for 5 or 6 seconds, and then whether it's a screen and roll or an ISO for him, it takes him a really long time for him to make a decision. He dribbles it a couple times and then passes when the defense already reads where the play is going, and it's very odd. He's not even shooting it well either.
Something that's weird about it, he's playing 33 minutes per game.
Yeah.
That's what you would expect from a team that is trying a win-now approach. You put your veteran out there for so long, but Rondae Hollis-Jefferson's only getting 18 minutes per game. And Brooklyn's not a win-now team. You want that rookie out there. You want him trying to develop a little bit more. So they started him recently. I'm pretty sure they weren't playing him all that much, but I think they just started him the past 3 games or so. I don't know.
I think he's the only player on the team with a positive plus-minus. Jefferson.
Yeah, he was. And it was ridiculous because he played. I think he had a plus 11 or something in 6 minutes of action, and then Lionel Hollins decided not to play him at all the next game. And it was getting ridiculous. Eventually, now he's playing, but he should be playing a lot more than 18 minutes per game.
Even if I was a winning team, I wouldn't even play Joe Johnson for that much. I'd rather give those minutes to people that actually can get up and down the court, like Hollis Jefferson, Markel Brown, Bogdanovich has been playing pretty decently. Joe Johnson and Jared Jack, they might be the vocal veteran leaders on the team, but the way they're playing is really dragging the team down.
Yeah.
So I guess we can move on to your dud team of the week.
This one was tough for me. I had to go. There were a lot of teams. Obviously, you mentioned there were winless teams, but I don't even care because some of those winless teams are teams I expected to do poorly.
Yeah, Philly, Sacramento.
Yeah, but the Memphis Grizzlies, 3-5 right now. Obviously,
pretty sad.
They're just a dud this week. They might turn it around, and I'm hoping they will because you expect them to be competitive. But it really seems like their style of play has finally come back to haunt them. Like, this is it. They're done. That crushing 50-point loss, they also got blown out by the Cavs.
Smacked.
Yeah, they got smacked by the Cavs, and then they got smacked by the Warriors. It's not like it was just a one blowout. No, they're losing a lot of games like that.
And it's surprising because the team itself really didn't change much. Like, they added Matt Barnes, they added Brandon Wright. So I was thinking that would be a little bit better for them depth-wise, but
their stars
just might be they're a little bit older.
No, their stars honestly have lost a lot of what made them special.
Yeah.
Zebo's averaging 14 points per game. Gasol is averaging only 13 a game. Mike Conley is only averaging 13 a game. You don't have anyone that's scoring anymore, where they at least used to have Zebo averaging 20 and 10 or Gasol 18 and 8. Mike Conley 16, 6. You know, they had people scoring higher. They had 3 players scoring above 15 points per game almost. Now they have no one above 14.
Yeah.
Their offense is completely dried up.
And their defense, too. Like, considering the way things are changing now in the NBA with more stretch guys, more even stretch fives, Gasol and Zebo can't compete with that.
Yeah, and they're also underutilizing, I feel, Jeff Green. Not like he's going to really bring this team to relevance, but they're giving a lot of minutes to Matt Barnes. And Matt Barnes is nowhere near a playable NBA guy anymore. Age 35, he's shooting 28% from the field. His PR is at 9. He's ridiculous. And they're giving him 22 minutes per game. He shouldn't be on the floor. And, like, the whole thing was, oh, yeah, they got him. He fit that grit and grind mentality of theirs. Yeah, but he was never good. Even when he was on the Clippers and they were like, oh, he's that tough defensive presence, he didn't play defense. He was just kind of a scumbag. He just hit people and made faces and yelled.
He's shooting 28% from the field right now.
Yeah.
And it's really, really bad. He's not even starting, but he's getting all these big minutes too.
23% from 3-point also. So it's not like he at least contributed that to the Clippers, but that's non-existent for him now. He has no reason for being out there.
Yeah. And they don't really have any other options aside from Jeff Green. Like, their wing depth isn't that great. They have Vince Carter, who hasn't been
He's declined. He declined a little.
He's only played 1 game this season. They've been giving him DNPs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's just from his age, but then I still don't understand why they're playing Matt Barnes.
Yeah. I mean, if they need shooting, they could at least play VC over Barnes.
Yeah. I don't know. They have 4 players in double figures. Courtney Lee, Mike Conley, Marc Gasol, Zebo, and then Brandon Wright, Beno Udrih, and Tony Allen and Jeff Green are all averaging, like, I think about 6 or 7 points per game each. So it's not like they're wasted for scoring. It's just they don't have any go-to scorers. Like it's great when you have that many players scoring close to 10 points per game, but you need somebody to be over 15 in order to have a championship roster. So anyway, yeah, that's my dud team of the week. And until they can turn it around and start looking like the old Grizzlies, they're gonna stay that. So moving on, let's go on to dud players. Who do you have as the one of the worst players, or least expected to be worst players of the past week?
We were just talking about Joe Johnson, but for me, that would be it. I mean, for me, just watching a bunch of Nets games, Johnson's been like atrocious. I haven't really looked into any other players aside from Johnson, but like that's the one that's showed me like the biggest drop from season to season. For me, it's really puzzling. A lot of people were saying losing Darren Williams would give more time for Johnson to be happier and for him to create, but it's done the opposite. Like losing Darren Williams and having Jarrett Jack in has been almost like the end of Johnson's career as an effective NBA player.
Yeah. And it's sad. I never personally liked Johnson. There were a lot of times that it kind of bugged me. He got that All-Star selection 2 years back with when he had, I think, like a 14 PER. And so there's always little times that he kind of like annoyed me. But he was still always a respectable player. And now that's completely gone. I don't understand why. Because even older players like Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce found niches for themselves to carve out, where Johnson just can't find any effective way of being on the floor anymore.
Yeah, and I think adding to my old guy duds is Kobe. I mean, we all know that Kobe is probably in his last year. It's his swan song, but he's been shooting it a lot. And he hasn't been shooting it well. He hasn't been scoring well. He hasn't really been doing much for the Lakers. I mean, we kind of had some hopes for him this season to perhaps be at least a 20-point per game scorer and be more of a distributor, but he's shooting it at 32% from the field, 21% from three, while taking 8 threes a game.
Yeah.
Which is insane. I mean...
If I could touch on that.
Yeah.
The 8 threes per game is especially ridiculous if you look at his career stats. He's only been a 33% shooter for his career.
He's never been a three-point shooter.
Yeah. And just to force up 8 shots per game. Mm-hmm. I think back in 2012, 2013, his last big season of 78 games, he was 3rd in the league in scoring that year. He was launching 5 threes per game, but he was still only shooting 32%. The highest he's ever shot has been 38%, and that was all the way back in 02, 03.
04, okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's no reason for him. There's no reason Byron Scott should be allowing him to take 8 threes a game, especially when Byron Scott apparently hates the three-point shot as much as he says.
I mean, one reason to have Kobe shoot 8 threes a game is that top 1 to 3 protected pick that's going to the Sixers.
Yeah. That was just a puzzling thing. This is all a puzzling thing because they're also benching D'Angelo Russell in crunch time a lot.
Yeah.
And those are reps that he could use to build on.
And Russell, we might get into this in our rookie report, but Russell hasn't been too exciting this season.
He hasn't had a shot, honestly. But you're right. We'll step on this later. So moving on, my dud player of the week, Ty Lawson. Ty Lawson has been atrocious. And honestly, I know it was a whole thing. Everyone was like, "Oh, he's definitely gonna start. He should start. He's better than Patrick Beverley." He needs to get benched. He needs to run that second unit. Because, yeah, they're winning, but it has nothing to do with Ty Lawson playing out there. Ty Lawson is atrocious right now. He's shooting 35% from the field, 33 from 3. That's fine. He can keep that number. Only 67 from free throw.
He's playing a lot of minutes, too, 39 minutes a game.
And he's only scoring 11 points per game. He's turning the ball over 3 times. He's not dishing the ball that much, but that's to be expected with Harden out there. But he's not helping them any, like they thought he would. These games that they're winning, they're barely winning them. They won by 4 over Los Angeles. They won by 6 over Sacramento, 5 over Orlando, 5 over OKC.
They started off the season by losing 3 in a row, and
they're barely winning these 4,
turning
though.
Around now.
Yeah, I know, and they're barely winning those games that they turned around on. It's not like they're killing teams or like finding their rhythm. They're shooting atrociously. James Harden too, but James Harden was expected to shoot that way because it's more pressure on him since Ty Lawson's underperforming.
Even to an extent, Trevor Ariza hasn't been too great shooting-wise, but I think the trend with him is that he hasn't been a hot starter for his career. He gets into the groove later in the season.
Also, there's a consistency problem probably for Ariza. If you're not named Dwight Howard, you're probably not getting the ball past you that much by Harden or Lawson.
Yeah.
I mean, Harden, even though he's not shooting that well, at least he's putting up a lot of points per game. He's inefficient, but he's still
averaging
doing something.
6 assists.
Yeah, but Ty Lawson, he should not be starting, plain and simple. Patrick Beverley should be taking over this starting spot because Lawson's a negative on defense. He's not contributing offensively. Unless Kevin McHale is really praying every night for a turnaround here, Lawson needs to take some time off. At least cut his minutes back. If you want to still start him, at least put him down to 29 minutes a game or something.
Yeah, I just want to see more Jet. And on the subject of the Rockets, Clint Capella shooting 79% from the field in 19 minutes a game.
Yeah, I mean, it's DeAndre Jordan syndrome.
As in, he can't really shoot free throws, but...
No, he can't really shoot, period.
Yeah.
And free throws outside of 3 feet, but, I mean, hey, it doesn't matter so long as he's making the shots. So, I'll give it to him.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good candidate for, if and when Dwight Howard gets injured, he might be starting and he could be putting up some big numbers.
Well, he's already putting up big numbers. Yeah.
Yeah.
19 minutes a game, 9 points, 7 rebounds, 2 blocks.
80% from the field.
Yeah. No, he's definitely... They have a very good backup center. They have 2 good power forwards, 1 amazing center, 1 very quality backup center, 1 good point guard, and 1 that's starting for them.
They also have Montrezl Harrell, too.
And Sam Decker.
Yeah.
And KJ McDaniels. Keep forgetting KJ McDaniels.
Yeah.
No, actually, we keep forgetting Corey Brewer, but whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so moving on, I thought we'd talk about off-season acquisitions. The ones that have panned out so far, the ones that haven't.
Okay. I guess starting with your point about Ty Lawson. Ty Lawson hasn't been great, like you were saying.
Yeah, Ty Lawson.
The stats for Rondo now, too. Those are the 2 big point guard team changes. I mean,
yeah.
Sacramento's been 1-7, and I don't know if it's all Rondo, but so he's averaging 12 points per game, shooting it 42%, which isn't bad
for him.
Yeah, shooting it from the free throw line at 36%.
Yeah, he's jacking up 2 threes a game, but he's jacking up 2 threes a game.
Yeah. He shouldn't be jacking up anything.
No, he should not be touching a 3-pointer.
Yeah.
And 6 rebounds. These stats are nice, but they're empty stats. They're Rondo stats. He is a triple-double machine, but that's simply because he keeps the ball to himself.
Yeah, he's a very ball-dominant player.
So, I mean, I'd hope that he could turn it around. Maybe go back to those Boston days, but I think those Boston days are behind him because he doesn't respect anyone as much as the big three.
Yeah, let's be honest, man. You don't really want to see Rondo succeed.
No, I don't. I want the Kings to succeed, not so much Rondo.
Yeah.
I want the Kings to succeed.
Darren Collison's. Are they? Yeah. No, Collison's coming off the bench, but he's averaging 16 points a game and also 30 minutes per game too.
Yeah, Ben McLemore has essentially become a role player for them.
Yeah.
They made sure he didn't get anything. I don't know. Rondo, there was one game where they had a great chance of beating the Clippers, and Rondo just threw a careless turnover. But then he also stole the ball. Like, he'll have these plays where he is such a negative for this team, but then he tries to make it up, but I think he's just an overall net negative for his career, even. Because we all think of him as a winner from Boston, but I don't think he's ever really done much. He hasn't done much when he was on his own. That we know for sure, actually.
Yeah. And I'm surprised that the whole George Karl Rondo thing didn't blow up yet. But it's going to be a ticking time bomb, basically.
Yeah, listen, there's plenty of time for that. There hasn't been nearly enough time. I guess my kind of dud acquisition or acquisition that hasn't panned out yet, Nick Batum. I'm still hoping for him to turn around. He hasn't been playing poorly, so I'm not saying that at all. It's kind of like the Lance Stevenson effect. He came over here, and now came over to Charlotte, and now he started shooting 36% from the floor.
What did he average last season?
In the
40%.
In the 400, yeah. He's a career 44% shooter. So, 36% isn't good. And, they were hoping for him to be a utility superstar. And that's why they paid him big money. But he hasn't proved that yet. 12.5 points, 4 assists, 7 rebounds. It's all well and good, but it's similar to his Trailblazers numbers. Except he's putting up a lot more shots to get them.
Yeah.
So, here's hoping he can turn it around, but he just hasn't panned out yet. So then I guess let's flip it over on a positive note and go to key acquisitions. Acquisitions that have been steals so far.
Yeah. So you were talking about Al-Farouq Amino before, right?
Yes, I was.
Yeah.
My fantasy dud. Well, stud.
You kind of questioned his contract back in our previews.
Yeah, I did.
I kind of defended him a little bit, but he's been surprisingly decent. 13 points per game, shooting at 43% from the field.
He's been great for his stand. Like, let's be real here. He filled in that role, and they're, not a great team, but they're a competitive team in the West, and he's their third best player right now. He's been awesome, and I'm happy that he proved me wrong. At least it's exciting. He's shooting, I think, a 3 per game also, which he's never been a shooter.
Yeah.
So to see that develop is it's encouraging.
Yeah. I wouldn't call this like a stud acquisition, but it's more of a we'll wait and see.
It's been a positive offseason acquisition. It's better than Rondo and Ty Lawson. It's been a good one, like people didn't see coming.
Yeah. One that's going to be like okay for now, but it's going to be paying dividends in the future is LaMarcus Aldridge. He's only averaging 15 points per game right now, 15 points, 9 rebounds, but when the Spurs really get into playing the Spurs way, once they get into the groove, like towards the middle of the season, it's going to be really scary.
Yeah. My acquisition... Actually, you know what? I'll wait on mine. I'm going to touch on yours. LaMarcus Aldridge is definitely going to pan out. You saw he was uncomfortable with his shot. The system was completely new to him. He just kind of passed the ball up to a lot of like Kawhi Leonard, Tim Duncan, everyone else who knew the system more. And it took him a while to get comfortable in making those shots. He had a lot of very inefficient games to start the season. And that's why his point totals are so low right now. But he's been coming on stronger these past couple of games. But I'm looking for him. I'm sure he's going to turn it around. He's already getting 10 rebounds a game too, which is also, along with his season, his career averages, which is fine. 15 points per game, that's going to turn around to 20 very shortly.
Yeah.
And he's going to be a nice 1-2 punch with Kawhi Leonard. My key acquisition, Greg Monroe. We talked about how he was going to be a defensive liability. He's been playing really well. He's actually Jason Kidd has coaxed a block out of him per game. He's never averaged a block per game. This is awesome for him. He's also shooting from the free throw line at an 82% clip, and he's shooting close to 5 free throws a game.
Yeah.
Scoring 18 points, 9 rebounds. He's doing amazing for the Bucks.
Yeah, the Bucks kind of started kind of on a bad note with 3 losses in a row, but ever since they beat the Nets, they've been very solid.
Yeah, that's all everyone needs.
Just beat up on the Nets. And Monroe's it's kind of surprising. We worried about the Bucks spacing, but they've been able to make it work.
Yeah.
Giannis has been playing really well as well.
Giannis is averaging close to 20 points per game.
Yeah.
It's great numbers for him. Also, just really quickly, as we move out of this, just to touch on the duds again. Just the Clippers. The Clippers and their acquisitions.
Their acquisition of that new core.
It's been bad. They're winning games, but they were winning games last year before they got them, and none of their acquisitions have been scoring efficiently. Lance Stevenson, Josh Smith, and Paul Pierce all are combining for 15 points, 5 points a game, respectively. All averaging, I think Smith is averaging only 13 minutes a game. The other two are averaging 20. And none of them are shooting above 37%. They're playing awful right now.
Still early, I guess. And especially when you have, a court and a uniform that looks so bad.
Yeah.
Your numbers have to dip.
At least Wesley Johnson is shooting 57% from the field. He brings up the whole thing.
Now?
No, he's not. Lance Stevenson's starting for them.
That might have to change.
That probably should change. But,
yeah.
Whatever. Moving on to Rookie Report.
Right.
So, I guess, best rookie so far. Most surprising rookie.
I'd say it's Porzingis, just because the expectations for him were so low that he's been really surprising. He's averaging 12 points and 9 rebounds a game, and a lot of people weren't even seeing that he could even play this year. People kind of thought he was a project, but he's been surprisingly decent. He's been showing some nice athleticism, and he's a good tandem with Carmelo, Robin Lopez. He's someone to watch in the future.
I love watching him. He has early foul trouble a lot of times, but that's going to come as he ages. It's just rookie mistakes. Same with his shooting percentages. They'll start getting higher as he starts getting a little bit smarter with his shot selection.
Yeah.
But there's a lot to like in what you said. He's only playing 24 minutes a game, and he's scoring 12, grabbing 9 boards. He's skinny. He's a very skinny kid. And the fact that he's getting 9 boards, 8.6 exactly, in only 24 minutes a game, that's encouraging for when he starts putting on some muscle.
Yeah. His shooting percentage right now leaves a lot to be desired, but I think his efficiency will be better as we move along towards the season.
I mean, also, it's to be expected. He's a stretch big, and stretch bigs tend to shoot lower than 50%.
Yeah.
So I don't expect him to be stroking 60% from the floor, but something a little bit higher than the 40% he currently is sporting.
Mm-hmm.
My surprise one, there were so many rookies that have surprised me so far. They're all playing really well, honestly. Karl-Anthony Towns, though, just because his scoring was supposed to be non-existent. He was supposed to be more of
defensive.
Yeah, he was going to be a defensive specialist and a stretch shooter that was going to take a while to develop his offensive game. Coming out the gates, averaging 15.5 points and 10 rebounds and 3 blocks. I mean, my goodness. Jahlil Okafor, obviously. Yeah, Jahlil Okafor is scoring more, but Karl-Anthony Towns is contributing a lot more to a better team
that's actually winning.
Yeah. Where he's not the only featured option, as is the case in Philadelphia. But yeah, no, he really is proving all of his detractors wrong right now. Where everyone was saying it was going to take him a couple of years before he started scoring, before he could handle being a big man inside. He's putting them all to shame. Doing really well for a rookie. Rookie big man.
He was also born the year Kevin Garnett was drafted, so that's a thing.
Yeah.
Kevin Garnett's still starting for the Wolves.
I think they're going to eventually transition to, what's his name? Nemanja
Bjelica?
Yeah, I can't pronounce the last name.
I think Bjelica is more of a 3, to be honest.
They're playing him at the stretch 4 a lot because they're giving his minutes, they're taking Zhang's minutes for him, rather.
Yeah.
So, I guess front runners for Rookie of the Year. Do you have an order? Maybe a top 5.
There's only 3 rookies that are really performing well for me. It's Towns, Okafor, Porzingis. Moutier is averaging a pretty good points per game with 13 points per game, but he's turning the ball over a lot at 5 per game, and he's also shooting pretty inefficiently at 33%. He's going to be a key player for the Nuggets this season because they really don't have anyone, but there's going to be a lot of growing pains. But I have my faith in the big guys because they're going to be more solid than Moutier, D'Angelo Russell, and players like that. Even Porzingis.
Well, touching on D'Angelo Russell, I think it's a shame that this has to be his rookie year. Because he's not getting a fair chance to even perform out there. In the limited minutes he's had, he's been fine, I guess.
He's just not really been too impressive, but he's been solid.
Well, he's
especially with Jordan Clarkson on the team, and Jordan Clarkson's been killing it.
Well, not even Jordan Clarkson. He's putting up 9 points, 2 assists, 3 rebounds a game. He's only playing 24 minutes a game. And he has to deal with Kobe, Jordan Clarkson, Lou Williams, and Nick Young all playing at this same time or taking minutes from him.
And being coached by Byron Scott.
Yeah, well, that will kill anyone. But honestly, we said it before, he's not getting to do any sort of closing minutes because they have proven scorers in Kobe Bryant and Lou Williams, and they need to be on the floor. And if they don't, if one of them switch to the small forward, Jordan Clarkson's going to be in because they need more shooting and less passing still.
Yeah.
I
think even to a similar note, on someone that's not a rookie, Julius Randle's been playing decent as well, but there's times where Byron Scott makes questionable decisions and pulls him out of the game.
For Roy Hibbert.
Yeah.
Ugh. I don't know, the whole LA thing is a mess, but I think D'Angelo Russell isn't getting a fair chance to prove that he's a quality player in this league.
His time will come.
Yeah. I guess just to touch on kind of like a top 10 so far of how the rookies have panned out.
Mm-hmm.
I have Stanley Johnson at number 10. Justice Winslow at number 9.
Did you see that dunk?
No, I have not seen his recent highlights.
Yeah, he had a pretty nasty dunk last Thursday, I believe. Last Wednesday or Thursday. Like, it blew the roof off of the American Airlines Arena.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Questionable one maybe, but I like it. At number 8, Larry Nance Jr.
Another Laker guy.
He's been playing well.
Yeah.
In such limited minutes, and he's getting some highlight dunks. I mean, that ridiculous dunk in like his debut. He earned it. He earned his spot here for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on, D'Angelo Russell coming in at number 7. Number 6, Jerian Grant. Number 5, Emmanuel Mudiay. Number 4. 4 was a tough one for me because this is where they all start getting more competitive.
Yeah.
But I had to go with Miles Turner.
Okay.
At number 4. Miles Turner should be lower, probably, just like he hasn't been playing all that well or that many minutes. You know, Jerian Grant and Emmanuel Mudiay have been putting up a lot, like, more points than him and having more of an impact, but it's not his fault. It's not his fault Frank Vogel is choosing to be stupid.
The Pacers haven't done that bad this season, but
they're 4-4, and they're not bad, especially in the East, but I don't know. Why are they playing Ian Mahinmi and Jordan Hill more minutes? Come on.
Yeah.
Miles Turner is a floor spacing big. He should be getting more, and he's showing that he can play pretty well. He's shooting 55% from the floor, averaging a block per game in 18 minutes. Come on. Anyway, so then coming in at number 3, Porzingis. Number 2, Jahlil Okafor, and number 1, Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah, pretty easy top 3 for you.
Yeah, I like having a Nick up there. Nick should have been one of my surprise teams, even though they're still not over 500.
Yeah.
Playing. At least being competitive.
Mediocre ball.
Yeah, at least being competitive ball. That's what we're going to call it.
Yeah. I mean, one rookie we kind of didn't mention is TJ McConnell of the Sixers. I mean, we know it's the Sixers, and we know that they're not going to be great, but McConnell's playing decently. 5.6 points per game, 7 assists, 7.6 assists per game, which is like top 5 in the league.
Yeah.
And he's not even turning the ball over that much. I mean, Okafor and Mudiay are both averaging more turnovers than TJ McConnell. I mean, he's not going to be like a stud, but he's proving to be at least a serviceable NBA player.
Yeah, I should have given him a mention at least. I'll put him in the honorable mention section for right now. I kind of want to see 1 or 2 more games from him playing this well, which isn't fair. Obviously, the other prospects have all played the same amount, and he's playing a lot better than some of them. But he's an unnamed rookie. You know what I mean?
He's undrafted.
Yeah, it's tough.
He's a Sixer.
Yeah, it's tough for me to get behind more than one Sixer on this list. Even though, the argument can be made, I put 2 Lakers on the list.
You also put 2 Knicks on the list.
Yeah, but the 2 Knicks are good.
McConnell's good too.
No, that's true. You know what? I'll swap Larry Nance up Jr. How about that? Larry Nance Jr. and TJ McConnell can take place. I won't even kick. I'm not going to kick Stanley Johnson or Justice Winslow out yet. These are my rankings, damn it.
I'm going to petition for you to add Rondé Hollis-Jefferson.
You know what? No. How about this? Next week you make your own rookie rankings and we'll compare them.
Can I add Julius Randle?
Yeah, sure. Why not? He only played 2 minutes.
Yeah. He's basically a rookie.
I guess looking forward, upcoming games this week for everyone to watch.
Yeah, I mean, we're recording this on a Tuesday night, so
That's when all
Wednesday,
new great things come out.
yeah. So Wednesday, it's the match of the century. It's gonna be like Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3. It's gonna be the Clippers versus the Mavs. I mean, this won't be a competitive game, but there's a whole lot of backstory to it, especially with the whole DeAndre Jordan thing. It's gonna be
It's just gonna be
a
Mark
game full of
Cuban's jaw.
storylines.
Mark Cuban's jaw versus DeAndre Jordan's smile.
DeAndre Jordan's ego
Yeah.
versus Mark Cuban's dignity. I guess.
DeAndre Jordan's confidence when he has
DeAndre
his
Jordan's
mom.
mom.
Yeah, DeAndre Jordan's mom instead. Ugh. Or
Yeah,
you know what?
at Dallas.
It's just gonna be everyone battling with emojis.
Mhm.
Maybe that's how they'll play the game.
Speaking of Dallas, Wes Matthews is playing.
Yeah, not well.
I mean,
He wasn't expected to be back until Christmas time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he's playing. I don't know if that's great for him, but it's good to see him back on the floor.
He's also averaging a lot of minutes considering he just got off of his
Like
break.
a pretty serious
Yeah,
injury.
he's averaging 27 minutes a game. That's kind of dangerous. Chandler Parsons also playing. He's just playing like ass.
Yeah, limited minutes.
Yeah, only 14, but I don't know. But both of them were just kind of. I think he got blocked on like his first try, like his first field goal attempt after coming back from surgery got rejected.
It's okay, Chandler. You're still good looking.
So
For Thursday's TNT games, there's going to be the Warriors versus the Timberwolves and the Clippers against the Suns.
also for Wednesday, Spurs versus Portland. It's just it's coming home night on Wednesday night.
I think Aldridge will get a good reception.
Yeah, they have no reason to be angry with him,
Yeah.
but it's still weird to see what might happen. Feelings might be hurt regardless.
Damian Lillard will
Not give him
get a little butthurt.
yeah. He'll pull the Kevin Garnett when Ray Allen went to shake his hand.
Oh.
Do you remember that all the way back? Back when Ray Allen first went to the Heat.
I remember Kevin Garnett was in an interview and he's like, I don't even have Ray Allen's number anymore.
Oh, during the game when the Heat went to the Celtics, the first return game for Ray Allen, he walked over to Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce, and like Paul Pierce dapped him, and he tried to get a dap from Garnett, and Garnett just like looked the other way and kept staring that way.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked Ray Allen after, he's like, "No, I don't really care. That's just KG." It's like, oh, okay.
Just the way Kevin is.
It's just the way Kevin is. Rondo does it. It's just the way Rondo is. No.
Rondo being Rondo.
Oh, look at that! He just hit another ref. So very quickly,
Yeah.
I want to run through star players. I know we already did stud players
Mhm.
for specific points, but I kind of want to do like overall players, like the best players at their positions so far this season.
Sure.
At point guard, I have a draw. Obviously, we know what Steph Curry's been doing, but Russell Westbrook.
I love Russell Westbrook.
Russell Westbrook has been destroying this league in his own way.
He's the destroyer of worlds. Russell Westbrook, I kind of think he's the first option for that team now. I mean, Durant's averaging 30 points per game, but Westbrook is doing the heavy lifting for that team.
But he's also, while he's shooting so much and his inefficiency has always been like a knock on him, he's not shooting from three that great, but he's shooting like 47% from the field. 48% from the field while averaging 26 points, 11 assists, and 7 rebounds. It's remarkable. And
I
yeah,
think the only downside for him is like his usage, and he's averaging 5 turnovers a game.
yeah. I mean, he's an aggressive player.
Yeah.
so it's been a little bit reckless. But I mean, he also has Durant with him, which I like, and Durant scoring close to 30 points per game also.
He's second in the league.
Between the two of them, they're scoring 50 points, almost 60 points.
I mean, that's all you need when the rest of your team is butt.
I don't know. Dion Waiters has been alright. Enes Kanter's been alright. Serge Ibaka's always good.
Steven Adams has a new tattoo.
Steven Adams has been playing.
Yeah, he's existing.
Shooting guard. Now, I didn't know where to go with this. I'm counting Giannis not as a shooting guard.
He's in everything.
He's just in every position. So, he's out of the running for that. Obviously, you already talked about CJ McCollum and how he's been playing really well. It's a toss-up between him and Andrew Wiggins for me.
What about Brad Beal? Beal's been playing really well.
He has been playing well. There's so many good options for shooting guard.
And there's the whole combo guard thing. Like, Eric Bledsoe's also playing really well. Like, that whole Brandon Knight, Eric Bledsoe backcourt, it's very fluid in the way they address their positions.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to give it to Andrew Wiggins because his team's a winning team right now, where the Wizards and the Blazers are both at 500 or lower. So I'm going to go with Andrew Wiggins just because. But all of those players, you just mentioned, whatever we want to consider Eric Bledsoe or Brandon Knight, the two of them have been playing.
Even Isaiah Thomas, too.
Well, no, Isaiah Thomas is a point guard. He's point guard.
He plays like a shooting guard.
He's a point guard. He plays like a shooting guard, he's a point guard.
Marcus Smart is
a point guard.
Okay.
They're both point guards.
Okay.
Alright, so moving on, small forward. You know what? I could go with Kevin Durant. You know, he's really surprising coming off that foot injury.
There's a guy named LeBron James, too.
No.
You heard of him?
I don't want to do LeBron James. Everyone knows LeBron James is good. LeBron James can be on his own list. But I'm trying to make a list here that's fun to listen to. Every list you read is going to have LeBron James at number one. I want...
Best hairlines?
What?
Best hairlines?
Oh,
LeBron James, number one.
Alright, fair enough. You could make the case Kevin Durant, just came off his foot surgery. I'm going to go with Giannis. That's why I classified him as a small forward. Giannis has been so surprising. Coming out, averaging 20 points per game, 2 assists, 7 rebounds. Shooting the three ball at 45%, shooting 57% from the field in general.
Yeah. Personally... were you saying something?
No, I mean, he's just been awesome. I'm just continuing on my love for him, but go on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to continue with my love for Kawhi Leonard. I mean, he's been really good. We already know about him defensively, but offensively, he's, their number one option now for the Spurs.
You're right. No.
Yeah.
You're right. Kawhi Leonard, they're similar numbers also, surprisingly. Him and the Greek Freak, putting up very similar numbers. In points, assists, rebounds. Kawhi's the better defensive player, obviously, but... No, Kawhi... fine. You'll sway me. I forgot Kawhi's block numbers, but they are truly dominant.
I think just his defense... you don't even need numbers with Kawhi's defense. Just having him on the court, he's a menace.
No, he is. He is. And he has... an amazing PR right now.
Yeah.
This is his all-star year. This is his year to shine.
All NBA. Maybe...
If he doesn't get an all-star nod, this is going to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
It would be just an absolute travesty if he doesn't get...
I don't know why he wouldn't. For the NBA's Western Conference, the forward position isn't that deep.
No, but it's no more centers.
Yeah.
It's just forwards. And so you have to factor in DeMarcus Cousins, you have to factor in Kevin Durant, Blake Griffin. It's a popularity contest also. And there's a lot of players out there. Dwight Howard still has a bunch of fans.
I don't think Howard might not get it just because of the injury thing.
Well, no, I feel like Kawhi definitely has to get it for coaches. I don't know if he starts.
Yeah.
Because the popularity contest, I don't know if he's going to get a starting position on the team, but the coaches have to bring him in.
I mean, that's fine. I mean, as long as the Spurs are winning, and I think that's what Pop cares about.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
He's been playing amazing. And even though the Spurs kind of have not struggled, but been a little iffy in some of their games, it hasn't been because of Kawhi. It's just more everyone getting used to everyone else on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Power forward. Power forward, I found to be a much weaker pool than the past three positions we just talked about. Paul Millsap, I think, kind of runs away with this one. Anthony Davis, I like to list him as a center. You know what? I'm going to give it to Anthony Davis over Paul Millsap, just because Anthony Davis has been playing his heart out on a team that has just not been there for him. And he deserves it.
I just feel bad for that dude.
Yeah, he truly deserves it. Even though I want to take winning into some form on this list, but like Anthony Davis, 25 points, 9 rebounds, 3 blocks. What? Like what? He's been amazing, and 2 assists. Like obviously not that many, but it's a lot. It's more than his career. His shooting.
And it's weird that he actually has people to pass to.
Yeah, I don't know who he's passing to right now, unless he's just like alley-ooping to himself and they started counting that as an assist.
Yeah.
But his shooting's down 46% right now. But 3-point percentage, he's shooting 36% from 3, and he's shooting 2 per game. As we record this, as we're speaking right now, guys, they're playing the Mavs, and he has 17 points at the half.
How many rebounds?
7 rebounds. And it's ridiculous. He has a block, a steal, 2 assists already. And he's shot 57% from the field. He's playing amazing.
Yeah.
His free throw percentage is a little bit down. Only 75% now. But he can pick that back up. And once he actually gets some form of a team, that would be really nice. When you're starting Kendrick Perkins and Nate Robinson or Ish Smith, Tony Douglas. Speaking of, what happened to Nate Robinson? He's off the team, and I don't know when he got off the team. He got bought out
after the first
game.
Either the first or second game, like he was gone.
Yeah. Well, you heard that they re-signed Jimmer.
They did.
They cut Jimmer. Did everyone cut Jimmer?
Yeah.
Then they re-signed him. I don't know.
Hoping for some life from Jimmer.
I would just like someone on this team to come back from injury.
Yeah.
Drew Holiday has not been playing minutes because obviously his whole injury thing. But it would be nice if he could start playing more and be a little bit more effective. Eric Gordon, I can't expect anything from him anymore. Tyreek Evans would just be really nice to get back.
Mm-hmm.
Norris Cole, even like somebody.
Or somebody to emerge.
Well, no, like Ryan Anderson and Eric Gordon are both averaging like 16 points a game. But it's not. I don't think it's their offense that really blows. It could be their second unit offense, but their defense is also atrocious.
Yeah.
When you're relying on Kendrick Perkins, Ryan Anderson, injured Drew Holiday, and Eric Gordon to be your stoppers. Like, there's no one on this team who can play defense besides...
I still don't see why Kendrick Perkins is a starter in the NBA.
I don't understand why they got Kendrick Perkins. I don't know why they won't play Anthony Davis at the 5.
Yeah.
He's 6'10 and 250.
Alexei Ajinça more minutes.
He's also injured, though.
Yeah.
Everyone's injured.
Once he gets back.
Yeah. Yeah, they just need someone. Wow. So then center. Center Andre Drummond by like hands down.
Yeah.
There's no debate about that. Averaging 20 and 20. Destroying the league, making it his plaything. He got held down in the recent loss to Golden State. Only averaged 14 and 15. That was his off night. That's like the night that we're like, oh, he didn't play as well as he normally does. 14
like a
points.
Career night for
Kendrick Perkins.
Kendrick Perkins. Yeah. Perkins has been in the league for like 12 years.
Has not had a 15 rebound game.
Has not had like a over 10
point game. Yeah, like I don't know. There's no one that can challenge him for best center. Boogie could try with 22 points and like 11 rebounds, but
that team is cracking.
Yeah. Andre Drummond is averaging almost 20 points per game, and he can't shoot outside of 2 feet.
Yeah, like you were saying, like at the beginning of this, that they're kind of replicating the Dwight Howard system. I was watching a couple of highlights from the past couple of games from Drummond. Like, he has been getting his good share of post-ups, but a lot of his points have been basically on cleaning things up, like rebounding his own miss, being a pick-and-roll guy, like catching loose balls. Like, it's a very simple game for him. It's not, like, he's been the Andre Drummond we've seen before, but just, like, cranked up.
He's averaging 7 offensive rebounds a game.
Like 4 of those are from his own shots.
Yeah, but like he's averaging 13 defensive rebounds a game. He's averaging like the next like everyone else. Like you would die to average 13 rebounds a game. Rudy Gobert is averaging 12.7 rebounds a game.
Is he second in the league?
No, I'm pretty sure DeAndre Jordan is.
Okay.
But let me check on that really quick. Yeah, it's DeAndre Jordan at 13.3. So Rudy Gobert 12.7, DeAndre Jordan 13.3. Andre Drummond's getting 13 defensive rebounds alone per game.
Yeah.
So every single player you see on that rebounds per game list, they're only doing on one side of what Andre Drummond is doing. That's amazing.
You haven't even mentioned the Cavs yet.
Because why bother?
Like much.
I don't know. Kevin Love is playing a lot better. Kevin Love's looking a lot more like Minnesota Kevin Love. Averaging 17 points, 13 rebounds, and like 2 assists, 3 assists.
Mo Williams has been okay.
LeBron James is still LeBron James.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't find the Cavs like exciting to talk about because like you know they're going to be amazing. Mm-hmm. LeBron having a slightly down year just because he's kind of letting other people do it.
Yeah.
A down
Tristan
year.
Thompson's back. Yes.
I don't know what they expect from Tristan Thompson. Also, guard depth. Do you know who their starting shooting guard is right now?
Who? Was it Rich? No, it can't be Richard Jefferson. Who is it?
I have no idea because
I thought you were just...
I'm saying because J.R. Smith is hurt, Iman Shumpert's out, Kyrie Irving's not there. Who are they starting at their 2 guard right now? If Mo Williams is their starting point guard, are they starting James Jones?
Big Game James?
Like I'm gonna look this up because I really want to know.
Are they starting the ghost of Wally Zerbiak?
I don't know who they could be starting. Looking up right now.
Okay, Richard Jefferson has started 2 games for them.
He started 2 games for them?
Yeah. J.R. Smith started 4. Jared Cunningham started 1.
I don't know what this means. No, I don't want that.
I mean, if you can start a 35-year-old Richard Jefferson and have only 1 loss in the season, it means you're a good team.
Well, yeah. I didn't think that they were going to be a bad team. But
actually, Richard Jefferson shooting at 51% from the field, 52% from 3, 10 points per game.
Yeah.
RJ, you are the man.
What do you think when you have Kevin Love and LeBron James around you? Also, Mo Williams kind of like tearing through defenses, or trying to, at least with his dribble. Like, Richard Jefferson, nobody's going to pay a thought to him, so now he's killing them for leaving him open.
And people even forget that he's on the team.
Yeah. I don't know who is starting at shooting guard for them. I never thought to look.
Yeah. I mean, I guess on an unrelated note, we have a trade.
Oh yeah, Beno Udrih for Mario Chalmers.
Mario Chalmers. I mean, it's something for the Grizzlies.
3-point shooting.
Leader championship pedigree.
Yeah. Woo!
Ooh, ooh.
Woo! I don't know. That's
It's a lateral move.
It's fine. I'm fine with it. I don't know. Beno Udrih is also a 3-point shooter.
I was pretty partial to Beno Udrih. He played pretty well in the playoffs last season. Sad to see Chalmers go.
It is.
Who will Wade and Bosch blame for their losses now?
I think they stopped that once LeBron left, yeah. I don't know. This is still really bothering me, by the way.
The Cavs starting shooting guard.
I will be bothered by this for so long tonight. Is it Matthew Dellavedova?
He hasn't started a game.
He's averaging 26 minutes per game.
Yeah. I guess you
Joe
can
Harris?
Mo Williams to the 2.
Is it Joe? No, it's not Joe Harris. Who? It must be Richard Jefferson.
He started 2 games. That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah, but J.R.
started
Smith...
2. Jared Cunningham started 1. J.R. Smith started 4. And the rest of their starters...
Okay, there you go.
Played,
fine. Okay, fine. So it was Richard Jefferson at the 2.
Yeah.
Alright. I'm okay now that I know this.
Alright.
Jared Cunningham. Get out of here. Alright, so any social media things you want to touch on?
Alright. Did you catch any of the T-Wolves Hawks game last night?
I saw it about 8 times on repeat on NBA TV.
Yeah. Did you see that Jeff Teague slap?
Yes.
What do you think about that? Is Jeff Teague a low-key dirty player?
Well, I don't know if he's necessarily a dirty player. I think it's just a frustration move on his part. You know, the Hawks are supposed to be a world beater team in the East, and the Wolves are supposed to be a rebuilding team. And the simple fact that the Hawks came back from 30 points, like the Timberwolves tried to give the game to them, essentially, in that third quarter. I feel like there's a little bit of frustration when you're so close and then it just doesn't go your way.
Yeah.
Obviously, it doesn't excuse what he did. He shouldn't hit someone else. But I don't think he's necessarily a dirty player. I just think he let his emotions get the best of him right there.
Yeah. Atlanta's been pretty good, too. Another team we haven't mentioned because there's so many. But Atlanta's been pretty good. But that game last night against the T-Wolves, it was a pretty interesting game, especially that third quarter where the Wolves turned the ball over hella times and basically almost gave the game back to them.
10 times. I'm pretty sure they gave up 35 points on the turnovers.
Yeah.
In the third quarter. Like, that's atrocious.
Mm-hmm. I guess another social media thing. James Harden, Khloe Kardashian, that's a thing. I guess.
Woo!
Woo, go James.
Alright.
And Kelly Olynyk was seen on Twitter trying to finish a burrito in 4 bites.
Well, that's something.
I mean, can't wait for Kelly to go back to Cleveland.
Oh, true.
It's like Kelly might be trying to win back some fans by being a good guy, but Cleveland fans know that he's a mean streak behind that long hair.
Alright, so I think before we cut out, just a real quick segment I want to do. Stock up or down on each of the 30 teams. Won't go in depth on them. Just
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw them out. We'll give our opinion on each one and go through each division.
Okay.
Starting the Atlantic, Boston Celtics. Stock up or down, Shaw?
I'd say up.
I'm gonna go with up. Marcus Smart's been doing really well, so yeah, I'm gonna go with up. Brooklyn Nets.
I mean, you can only go up.
Can you just call it even? Because once you're at the
Oh,
bottom,
gosh.
I feel like it's just even. You can't go down anymore, so it's just even.
I mean,
I feel like they'll go
something
up.
has-
They're gonna go up one game, and then everyone's getting really excited for them in Brooklyn at least, and then they're gonna go back down.
They
So
have a tough schedule coming up, so
I'm gonna give them even. They're just gonna be at the same level of
yeah,
upset. New York Knicks.
even.
Okay, I'm gonna go with up. Go with up.
Okay.
Shut up.
Okay.
Philadelphia 76ers.
I mean, they're also
Yeah.
almost-
Where do you go from down?
So just keep doing what you're doing, Sixers. You can't get any worse.
The Toronto Raptors.
They've been surprisingly good. I mean,
I feel
a
like
lot
they've
of
been
people were saying
too.
that they were like this is the end of them, and they have plateaued, but they're good. I mean, DeRozan's been very good for them. Carroll's been okay. He hasn't been shooting well, but other than that, he's going to be like a decent acquisition for them.
I feel
I'd say
like
up.
I want to say they're going to be a good team, but I want to say they're going to start heading down at some point. They're going to hit a rough patch, I feel.
During the first round of the playoffs.
But I'm going to give them even for right now, just because I don't know how to feel about them. So, Central Division, Chicago Bulls.
Oh, this is a tough one. I'd say up. I mean, there's been some drama with Derrick Rose, things like that, but like seeing them play, it's really exciting to see the Bulls play now. Doug McDermott's been playing a lot of minutes, and they're just a lot more loose on the court as compared to last season with Thibodeau.
I'm going to say down. Just because I agree their offense has been a lot better, but their defense has been atrocious. And the players that they're starting or just throwing out there in general aren't stoppers. You know, they're giving a lot of minutes to Doug McDermott and Nikola Mirotic, and they can't stop a trash can from scoring.
Yeah.
And Pau Gasol. I didn't even throw Pau Gasol out there, but until they can rediscover their defensive identity, I'm going to keep them heading a little bit down. Cleveland Cavs.
Even, I guess.
Yeah, when you're at the top, where do you go? So even.
Yeah.
Detroit.
I'm going to say down. I really don't think Andre Drummond could sustain like his level of play. Yeah, same for Reggie Jackson. Like, I'm hoping he proves me wrong. Like, he's proven like me wrong during his tenure with the Pistons, but I don't see how they can sustain like this really great, really productive level of play for the next couple games.
I'm gonna say up, just because we're not even factoring in the play of Stanley Johnson and Ersan Ilyasova in there, and one of those players.
One of the Morris twins.
Well, Marcus has been playing well. You know, he hasn't been playing amazing, but if you want to throw him in there too, or Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, once Reggie Jackson or Andre Drummond slips a bit, I don't think Drummond will slip rebounding-wise. It'd be more scoring or something. But one of those players is going to start taking a little bit of a step forward, whether it be Ilyasova, Morris, or Stanley Johnson. Well, someone's going to start picking up the slack. Indiana Pacers.
I see them going up. I'm a little bit optimistic about them. Paul George has been playing pretty well for them. Monte Ellis has been okay as well. I really didn't have that high hopes for them this season, but they've been proving me wrong. Vogel's been okay. He's been coaching this team to a decent record. And that's what I expected from them this season.
Yeah, I have them going up. Paul George also just kind of broke out as the superstar again recently, so they're on the rise. Milwaukee
Yeah.
Bucks.
Up for sure. They started the season off pretty rough, but I think they're like starting to find their footing, especially with Jabari Parker back. Like once he starts to get used to the flow of the game, and once he starts to like be integrated into the system more, I think they're going to be a very dangerous team because of how deep they are and how good like some of these young pieces are.
Yeah, definitely up for me too. Greg Monroe, obviously, he could continue this play. It's sustainable, 18-8.
Mm.
Giannis might take a little bit of a step back, but they have so many other pieces in place. Jabari Parker still hasn't found his footing yet. So once one of them takes a step back, Jabari Parker could step right back up. And we're looking at the same team. So I don't think they're going to fall too much if they stutter at all.
Yeah,
Southeast Division, Atlanta Hawks.
I see them staying about even. I mean that uh, Timberwolves game was probably an outlier, and like they just had a bad half basically.
Yeah, uh, I'll give them even. Also, they're still head and shoulders above a lot of the East. So dropping one game to a Western Conference opponent isn't really going to make or break what they've been doing so far.
Right.
Charlotte Hornets.
See them going up. I mean, I've been very optimistic with these ratings, honestly, but like something has to click for them. Like they were that bad last year, and I see this team like putting things together. Walker's been a little bit better this season. Their whole like entourage of big men like should figure it out, but that's me being optimistic.
I agree with the up thing. Jeremy Lamb, they recently inked him to a deal. He's been playing so well this year.
It's surprising.
Yeah, overall shooting about 54% from the field, 42% from 3 point, scoring 12 points per game.
Mhm.
And I mean, he's had a couple nights where he shot 90% from the field against the Bulls. That's amazing. So when you have someone like that coming off your bench, I think you're going to be fine. I think, like you said, if Frank Kaminsky, Cody Zeller, Al Jefferson, they can start figuring something out, they'll be back on the right track.
Mhm.
So moving on from them, let's talk about Miami Heat.
So I have them up again. They're 4-3 right now, but a lot of people peg them as like their sleeper pick for the Eastern Conference, and I feel the same way too. Dragic and Bosch, along with Wade whenever he plays, and the rest of the team, even like having Daniel Winslow as your threes, that's a very deep team. It's going to be a very dangerous team, and I don't think their current record reflects that.
I can't say that they're going to be any better than they are, but I also can't say they're going to be worse, especially in the East. So I'm going to keep them at even. Dwayne Wade's going to start taking games off. You know, Chris Bosh, he started off strong, but I don't know if it looks like he's lost a little bit of a step, especially from last year. Goran Dragic definitely lost a step, and he's pretty old now. You know, Whiteside, he's showing a lot of those tendencies that kind of made him not such a great prospect.
What kept him out of the league for like the first 3 or 4 years.
I think they have the talent to stay where they are, but I don't see them making a huge jump up. Orlando Magic.
I see them being about even. I think they're a very frustrating team, honestly. Aaron Gordon hasn't really been playing that many minutes. He's been averaging around like 20 minutes a game. Last week against the Pelicans, he played 4 minutes total, and then the next game he played 32 minutes.
Yeah.
So, like, having Scott Skiles is going to be very up and down. I really want to see more of his own too.
Yeah. I have them up. They've been so competitive in their games. I just something needs to break for them. Someone is going to step up and be a clutch scorer, and they're going to go on a streak. Cause,
That's on Zoja.
yeah, maybe. They have three players that have been playing extremely well in Vucevic, Oladipo, and Harris. It's just the rest of the roster needs to step up a little bit. Elfrid Payton needs to get a little bit more footing under him. And, like you said, the younger guys, too, like Aaron Gordon and Mario Hezonja need to see more time off the bench.
Yeah.
Washington Wizards.
I see them going up. Again, this might be like, I might have said up for every team. But
Knicks.
Washington,
Say up.
yeah, other than the Knicks. Washington's a good team. Like,
yeah,
they should be one of the top 4 teams in the East, but they haven't really shown it this season. Like, Beal's been playing well, and just want to see their guys pick it up with Marcin Gortat and Nene.
Chris Humphries.
Yeah, stretch 4, Chris Humphries.
Yeah, I agree. I see up. They're definitely games are going to start breaking their way. Especially their offense is looking a lot crisper. Randy Whitman syndrome isn't affecting Bradley Beal and John Wall. Those two are killing it. But the big men, the Otto Porter, Chris Humphries, Marcin Gortat, you need to see them start picking up the slack a little bit. Or anyone off the bench would be nice. Pacific, Golden State Warriors. Where can you go? Even.
Yeah.
Even. No, you actually just
Nothing much
up.
to say.
They're going to go up. They're going to go in 85-0.
They're going to beat the Grizzlies by like 80 points tomorrow.
85-0, Charles. They're going to
Yes.
win 3 more games just for winning all 82 games. It's like a bonus prize once you get there. And yeah, they'll beat the Grizzlies tomorrow. I'm sure of that.
By 70. 70 or 80.
Grizzlies just won't score.
Yeah.
Los Angeles Clippers.
I'd say I'd keep them even. They're not the Warriors. I mean, like you were saying that there's some issues with them, like with their new acquisitions, but that core of Paul, Griffin, and Jordan is still doing wonders for them. And I don't see that changing anytime soon.
I'm saying down for that core. Those acquisitions are stinking it up right now. Until they can turn it around, they're going to stay that way. DeAndre Jordan, he was supposed to get more involved in the offense. Haven't really seen that, so I don't know where it's supposed to come from.
But he was promised. He was promised.
JJ Redick's been doing well, but that's just because he has a good point guard. And that said point guard is going to be missing more time now because he's hurt again. And who knows if this injury is going to be a nagging one that keeps him out for a while or not.
Right.
He's been on and off. He was probable for Monday. He played a little bit after missing a game on Sunday. I don't know. I don't know what he's going to be doing. But Blake Griffin's going to come back down to the realm of human beings also. So there's that to keep in mind. Los Angeles Lakers.
Up. I'm hoping Kobe snaps out of the 8 threes a game thing, gets back to being Kobe, or at least starts to distribute more.
Yeah. Or cedes minutes to younger players.
No.
No, that won't happen.
No.
I have them down. They're just going to keep losing games. Phoenix Suns.
They're a weird team for me. We haven't really talked about them much, and I've seen a couple of their games. They've been competitive at times, and they've also been crap at times. So I'd say they're going to stay about even, because this is kind of what I expected from them. They're going to have nights where they compete really well, but there's going to be nights where they get blown out.
I have them going down. Just simply because, imagine being a Phoenix fan, where every year now, for the past 3 years, your team has been so close to being an actual contender, and somehow, some way, they managed to just keep being a mediocre, are they going to make it, or are they not team. A lot of the sheen has worn off, and all they are is one Tyson Chandler back spasm away from
The unleashing of Alex Len.
being back to where they were last year, which didn't make the playoffs. So I have them down. Sacramento.
I have them going down. I mean, they're already 1-7, but
Down.
like things are starting to crumble for them.
Yeah.
Like very quickly.
They're messing. It's even messing up the offense. Rudy Gay had kind of discovered himself when he came to Sacramento.
Yeah, like I was just looking at his stats, and like he's been having a very subpar year for Rudy Gay standards.
Yeah, that's it, and I feel like it's a direct correlation to Rondo. Like Darren Collison, Rudy Gay, and DeMarcus Cousins were keeping this team really competitive at the start of last year.
Mm-hmm.
And you have all three of those players playing pretty well, but Rondo for some reason's here, and they're 1-7.
Yeah, I don't even see like George Karl being at fault because like his system encourages like
Running.
ball sharing, like running, but we're not seeing like high points from the team.
Yeah. So down for them. Southwest, Dallas Mavericks.
I see them going down. Like they're about 500 this season, but especially with the way things are in the Western Conference, the bloodbath that it is, like they might be getting Wes Matthews to play full games soon and having Chandler Parsons back at full strength, but they really don't have the big man depth or like the depth overall to be super competitive with the rest of the Western Conference and the rest of the league.
Yeah, even though I agree Chandler Parsons and Wes Matthews can change this team, without anyone better than Zaza Pachulia as your starting center, you're not going somewhere in the West.
Mm-hmm.
Houston Rockets.
I see them going up, to be honest. Like, Harden's probably going to fix his shooting woes, or either that or completely fall off the rails because he's dating Kardashian. I think McHale will make the adjustment to play Pat Beverly a little bit more minutes, and like give Ty Lawson less. And I just see the rest of this team figuring it out. Like Trevor Ariza is probably going to start shooting better.
Yeah, I agree. Something's going to break. McHale is a smart coach. He's a really good coach. So something's going to happen. Either they're going to talk to Ty Lawson and Ty Lawson might turn it around, or Ty Lawson's going to start seeing more of the bench. But yeah, I don't doubt that Houston's going to be a competitive team, and they'll turn it around, and they're on the rise. Memphis.
I see them going down, honestly.
I see that. I agree. Down. They're getting too old, and their play style is too out of date.
Like they're throwing like everything at the wall right now, but nothing's seeming to work for them.
I like it. I like the story that they have of like they're a team that goes against the norm and they were still successful, but I think that Cinderella story played itself out. I don't know how many 50-win seasons they have left in them. I don't think they can do it this year.
Yeah.
They're big guys, especially if you don't have one of those three heads of the monster working in Mike Conley, Zebo, or Marc Gasol. The whole machine's going to go out. And as of right now, all three are very much underperforming.
Yeah.
New Orleans Pelicans.
Up. Hopefully. I mean, Anthony Davis can't score every point for them, but he's doing the most he can. I feel like the rest of the team needs to pick it up, and they have to.
It's really unfair. There's been so much talk about how Anthony Davis is proving that he's not as amazing as people were thinking. Like, oh, he's not a surefire MVP candidate anymore. His team can't win a game. He's like, blah, blah, blah. Like, what was he supposed to do? Score 100 points per game and get 50 rebounds?
Like, I don't see where the criticism from Davis comes from. I'm, like, seeing that criticism, too, and I'm like, he had one, like, poor game where he took a couple plays off. I think it was against the Warriors, but
every single player has performed. All of the greats performed poorly when they were by themselves. Michael Jordan was like a non-factor in playoffs until he got Scottie Pippen.
Yeah,
Kobe was a non-factor whenever in the in between
Whenever he
years.
didn't have someone.
Yeah, in the in-between years between Shaq and Pau. LeBron was a non-factor except for one outlier year where he played San Antonio and got swept.
Yeah.
Like, when they're by themselves, superstars aren't any more immortal
They can't,
than anyone else.
Make your team win.
Yeah. So, I don't know what people wanted from him. He developed. He became a three-point shooter. So, yeah, I have them on the up. Once, Drew Holiday clears his minutes restrictions, or they get Omer or Tyreek back from injury. Tyreek's going to take a while, but here's hoping speedy recovery.
Get well soon.
Yeah, one of them comes back, they're going to be a lot better. San Antonio.
Up, for sure.
Yeah, agreed.
They're already winning by a lot.
Yeah.
But, you're going to get better.
Yeah, there's nothing you can say. The San Antonio Spurs are good. They're not underperform, and they've two of the top talents in the league right now, and 3 Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
Northwest Division, Denver Nuggets.
Down.
This one's a weird division because this is like all the shaky teams that are playing oddly well.
Yeah.
Denver Nuggets, down. You're relying on a rookie point guard and some of the most inconsistent role players I've ever seen. So,
Yep. JJ Hickson, no.
Yeah. Kenneth Faried, Danilo Gallinari, none of these players are world beaters. So, when Emmanuel Mudiay is something special. We saw that in the game against the Blazers when he had 2 blocks on Lillard in clutch time and hit a couple of step back jumpers. And he's going to be really good in the league. The John Wall comparisons were right on, but it's going to take some time for that.
Yeah.
Minnesota Timberwolves.
Down. They're playing really well.
Yeah.
I just don't think they can sustain it. It's like the Pistons.
You have 2 rookies getting significant minutes, 1 sophomore getting significant minutes, a career 30, a career 30% shooter getting significant minutes, and then your bench is all Kevin Garnett, Tayshaun Prince, Kevin Martin, and another sophomore, and Nikola Pekovic. Dang, I forgot he was on the team. But they're gonna go down. Kudos to them for playing so well out of the gates and getting a nice win over a high playoff team. But the magic can only last for so long. They're going to be a good team in years to come, but I don't know if this year they're really going to keep it.
Okay.
OKC.
Up, for sure. Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant will figure it out.
Yeah,
they're 4-3 right now, but yeah.
When you have 2 players scoring 60 points per game, you're not going to lose too many games. I have them up as well. They're going to figure out rotation. You have rookie head coach issues, obviously, in figuring out rotation minutes between Steven Adams, Mitch McGary, Enes Kanter, and Serge Ibaka. But Fred Hoiberg's done really well at getting the best out of Dion Waiters so far. So we'll see what happens.
Do you mean Billy Donovan?
Oh my God. Yeah, Billy Donovan. Wow, that was... Oops. Yeah, Billy Donovan's done really well getting the best out of his players.
Yeah.
Portland Trailblazers.
I see them remaining about even.
I see them down. Honestly, I don't think Lillard and McCollum can keep this up.
Yeah.
No, not that they're going to drop off to only 10 points per game. I think they're great scorers, but unless Myers Leonard is a consistent 50, 40, 90 guy and not the 20, 30, 20 guy.
Yeah.
And Al-Farouq Aminu, I feel, is having a really good run, but I don't know how long that's going to last. Hopefully long, because he's on my fantasy teams. But in reality, I'm not sure. I think teams are going to start figuring him out, and I don't know if he'll be able to handle a new scouting report.
Yeah.
Utah Jazz.
I see them going down. They've been playing really well, but again, it might not be sustainable for the rest of the season.
The point guard thing that we've talked about, they don't really have anyone to go to. So, I'm going to go with down.
Yeah.
Their defense should be good. Gobert's been playing great. Gordon Hayward's still on the team. Derek Favors is having another quietly great year.
Yep.
But without quality guard depth, you're not going anywhere.
The Western Conference is tough.
Yeah. And especially when you have overachievers like Minnesota and Denver and Portland in your division, it gets a lot tougher.
Mm.
So, yeah. There you go.
That about wraps it up.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Be sure to catch us next week.
Yeah, hopefully it won't be as long as this one.
Hey, waiting makes the heart grow fonder.
Sure.
See you later, guys.
Later, guys.